Good evening. The Police High Command is condemning the killing of a district constable who responded to reports of suspicious men seen in the community of York District, St. Thomas yesterday. 37-year-old District Constable Mark Forsyth was assigned to the Trinityville Police Station in St. Thomas. At about 3:40 p.m., District Constable Forsyth was alerted by residents about strange men seen in the community. He summoned assistance from colleagues while he responded. Forsyth was, however, greeted by gunmen who opened fire, hitting him multiple times. The men also opened gunfire at citizens who tried to assist the injured officer. The High Command is also expressing condolences to the family, colleagues and friends of the slain district constable as the constabulary continues to mourn the loss of their colleague. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is committed to conducting a thorough investigation and to apprehending the persons responsible for his death. The JCF's Chaplaincy Branch and Welfare Department is providing support to the family members, colleagues and friends of the late district constable. Meanwhile, anyone with information that can assist the police to solve this murder is being asked to contact the Major Investigations Division, MID, at 876-758-5048, Police Emergency 119, or Crime Stop at 311. In other news tonight, an inquiry into an alleged love triangle has been opened by the Barnett Street Police in Montego Bay, St. James, following this morning's murder of a well-known garage owner on the People's Choice Plaza located at Jarrett Street. According to reports coming into our news center, at about 1:30 in the morning, the popular garage owner known as Dappa went to an apartment on the plaza along Jarrett Street to see a woman when he was fatally chopped. Now, on the other hand, according to the investigators, the male complainant claimed that at about 1:45 a.m., he and other family members were at home when he heard unusual noises coming from the entrance of the 4-story structure. He then allegedly went for his machete and then approached an unidentified man who was supposedly trying to break into the house. The complainant added that the trespasser pointed an object at him and he began to chop the unidentified man multiple times with his machete. The police were summoned and the injured man, who died from his chop wounds, was later recognized as the garage owner, who ran a high-profile garage along Makati Street in Montego Bay. Still tonight, 25-year-old Gianni Brown of West 3rd Street, Greater Portmore, St. Catherine, was fatally shot on Constant Spring Road, Kingston 10 yesterday by an unidentified assailant or assailants. Now, according to reports from the Halfway Tree Police, residents heard explosions at about 7:30 p.m. and called for help. Several teams responded and Brown was discovered lying on the ground with gunshot wounds. He was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Investigations into the incident are ongoing. Continuing with the news tonight, the ceremonial opening of Parliament was today held at Gordon House to commemorate the beginning of the new fiscal parliamentary year. Now, this tradition started in 1962 at the first opening of Parliament for newly independent Jamaica. The throne speech was delivered by Governor-General Sir Patrick Allen under the heading "A Stronger Jamaica, Consolidating Our Recovery, Reigniting Our Decade of Growth," where he outlined the objectives and intentions of the government for the coming year, as well as past accomplishments for the year under review. Sir Patrick Allen also made mention in his speech of the intention to strengthen the regulations of the financial sector.
During 2023-24, the government will appoint the Fiscal Commissioner and operationalize the Independent Fiscal Commission as a guardian of Jamaica's fiscal rules. It is also the intention to strengthen the regulations of the financial sector by unifying prudential supervision and regulation under the Bank of Jamaica, while pursuing the establishment of a separate regulator for market conduct and consumer protection.
Sir Patrick Allen also stated the key legislative amendments to improve public safety.
For 2023-2024, the government will pursue key legislative reforms to advance efforts towards realizing improved public order, improved public safety, and reduction in crime and violence by prioritizing the following. 1. Amendment to the Fingerprints Act. 2. Amendment to the Immigration Restriction, Commonwealth Citizens Act and Aliens Act. Review of the Corrections Act. Amendments to the Proceeds of Crime Act, POCA, to include unexplained wealth.
Still making Mello TV news, Mrs. Shalette Cox took over as president of the Jamaica Promotions Corporation's JAMPRO, a division of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, effective February 10, 2023. On January 2, 2023, Mrs. Cox was named acting president and led the JAMPRO team that participated in the most recent ministerial mission to Guyana. She graduated from the University of the West Indies with a Bachelor of Science with honors in Economics and International Relations before earning a Master of Arts in Development Economics from Williams College. She also serves on the boards of the Jamaica International Financial Services Authority, JIFSA, the Cannabis Licensing Authority, and the Credit Enhancement Fund of the Development Bank of Jamaica. JAMPRO wants to encourage exports, investment, growth, and economic developments. Still tonight, for the upcoming financial year 2023 to 2024, tabled in Parliament today, Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clarke, outlined the government's plans to spend $1 trillion.
This is Jamaica's first $1 trillion budget. This amount, Madam Speaker, is allocated across the main expenditure categories as $665.7 billion, or 22.5% of GDP, to non-debt recurrent expenditure, $75.3 billion, or 2.5% of GDP, to capital expenditure, and $280.6 billion, or 9.5% of GDP, to debt service. Included in the non-debt recurrent expenditure are allocations to implement the second year of the 3-year public sector compensation restructure and allocations to operationalize the Independent Fiscal Commission, which has been captured as head 10,000 in the expenditure estimates. The allocation for capital expenditure takes into account the existing capacity to implement capital programs and focuses on the priority areas to enhance development. Debt service at 9.5% of GDP, which reflects both amortization, i.e. principal repayments, and interest payments, reflect action taken over prior years to reduce the debt burden, as that 9.5% of GDP was significantly higher only a decade ago, with interest payments this year of $155 billion being fully financed by revenue.
During his address, the minister pointed out that interest payments will be fully financed by revenue and estimated an overall public debt will be further reduced from 79.7% to 74.2% of GDP.
The overall public debt is estimated to end the current fiscal year as at March 31st, 2023 at 79.7% of GDP. This is expected to decline further to 74.2% of GDP by fiscal year 2023-24. Madam Speaker, this is a projection. It depends on parameters and variables that are not totally in the control of any single person. But should it be achieved, Madam Speaker, that is the 74.2% at the end of this fiscal year, it would mark the first time since the nationalization of the financial sector crisis through FinSAC in the latter half of the 1990s that debt has entered the domain of pre-FinSAC levels.
Still tonight, the parish of St. Anne's Chief Public Health Inspector Delroy Scott has seen an increase in cases of gastrointestinal illness as a result of inadequate water supply in some areas, which has forced residents to obtain water from unreliable sources. Mr. Scott was addressing the parish's municipal corporation's regular meeting on Thursday, February 9. Councillor Ian Bell of the People's National Party's Beach Town Division informed the Assembly that his division is one of many affected by a water scarcity. Mr. Scott advised that the parish's authorities should give consideration to drilling wells, adding that the Green Pond Well and Queen Height Well in Discovery Bay will aid certain communities with their water problems. We go now to a Mello TV News update where a female police constable has been charged in connection with the ongoing investigation into rape and robbery reportedly committed by another member of the constabulary in Black River, St. Elizabeth on Monday, January 30. 44-year-old Laverne Hendricks of Ginger Hill District, St. Elizabeth, is charged with attempting to pervert the course of justice and misconduct in a public office. Reports coming into our news center are that a woman was stopped during a vehicle checkpoint operation and a breach of the Road Traffic Act detected. Constable Alwyn Hill, who was previously charged, allegedly solicited money in exchange for not prosecuting the woman. She was taken to an automated teller machine and was subsequently sexually assaulted. The woman made a report to Woman Constable Hendricks, who was on duty. However, Hendricks reportedly told the woman to lie in exchange for money, obstructing the course of justice. The woman constable also gave a false statement to colleagues who had subsequently launched an investigation. The report was elevated to a senior investigator and a case file was prepared and submitted to the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, who recommended that Hill and Hendricks be charged. Constable Hill was previously charged with rape, grievous sexual assault, forcible abduction, corruptly soliciting, and simple larceny regarding this incident. And that's our news package for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Mello TV Evening News at 8. I am Shelley Hill. Do stay safe, pleasant viewing, and thanks for watching.